All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm back here for another one. Um, this is just kind of random, only because I've seen something about this particular former Ram player the other day, and I wanted to talk about this because this has been a topic ever since this person I'm going to mention has no longer been a Ram. The person that I'm referring to is Jared Goff, and it seems like people only want to have the conversation on social media, right? I haven't really, maybe it's just me, but I haven't seen any one of these platforms like this talk about it. So let's talk about this. A lot of people are on the fence about Jared Goff, don't like Jared Goff. They refer to him as Jared Goof, whatever the case may be. I personally am not one of those guys, right? I got football eyes. And to the average fan, they're going to look at Jared Goff like he was a bum, like he was, in their words, he was not a clutch player, right? But I feel to differ. I mean, excuse me, I beg to differ. I beg to differ on that. Let me explain to you why. So let's rewind it back. When the Rams made the trade with Tennessee to get the number one overall pick in 2016, the conversation between NFL Network and ESPN and all these football platforms was, what's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback they're going to take? Should they take Wentz? Should they take Goff? Damn near everybody on ESPN was like, nah, they're going to go Wentz. They're going to draft Wentz. They're going to grab. And and you had people in different networks say Goff. You have different people from different networks saying Wentz. I personally, because I'm a USC guy, I'm a Trojan fan. I know what that looked like when he was at Cal. That was the guy I wanted over Wentz. I wanted Jared Goff. Sure enough, obviously that's who the Rams drafted. Now, it didn't look well in 2016, but there was a whole lot going on with that 2016 team that was led by Jeff Fisher. Different conversation. However, let's fast forward to the following year, 2017. What happens? I mean, he helped leads the Rams along with Sean McVay, of course, right? A functional head coach, to help lead them into the playoffs and win the division, right? Okay, next year, he leads us to the Super Bowl, okay? I'll get to that part. The following year, 2019, was kind of one of those weird years because the Rams were decimated with a lot of injuries. Todd Gurley didn't look like himself. Whitworth was hurt. There was a lot of things going on with that team, on the field, right? They traded away that, obviously, that same year in 2019, they traded away, excuse me, I'm drawing a brain fart with his name right now. Marcus Peters. And that's the year that we got, Jalen Ramsey. 2020 was just another one of those weird years, right? But it seems like a lot of these Rams fans, right? Their go-to when they say that Jared Goff is in clutch is that Super Bowl against the Patriots. See, this is where I say this all the time. Common sense, it's not hard, right? Because it isn't. Let's use the common sense. How well did Jared Goff play in 2017? How well did he play? Go back and look at his record against those Seattle teams when he was a Ram. Go back and look at his record against those 49er teams when he was a Ram. Go back and look at those records with him as the quarterback against some of the elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, Cam Newton. Who am I forgetting to mention? Aaron Rodgers. Right? No, even though Kirk Cousins is not an elite quarterback, right? If you go back and you watch that Minnesota game in 2018, what did he do? The guy had like 5 touchdown passes. If you're not a clutch quarterback How do you go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes on Monday Night Football? And Jared Goff, is the reason why they win that football game. What did he do? Ran for a touchdown, threw for 4 more. No picks. If you want to get technical, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. People aren't going to go out there and say that, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that. Why? The last I checked, how many turnovers did Mahomes have in that game? He had 2 picks late in that fourth quarter and 2 fumbles. Jared Goff, to my knowledge, had maybe 2 fumbles, right? No picks. And not to mention that clutch pass to Gerald Everett to score that go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter. So you can't say the quarterback is not clutch when he's proven it time and time again. He did come back and beat Aaron Rodgers. He did come back and beat Drew Brees in the playoffs. Did he not? I mean, he is the guy that led the team down the field to kick the game-winning field goal. Is he not? Is he not? So here's where it gets dicey, because Rams fans only want to go to this particular game and they go to the Super Bowl. Did Jared Goff have a bad game? Yeah. But so did Tom Brady. So did Tom Brady. And he's the consensus greatest of all time at the quarterback position, right? How did Tom Brady start off that Super Bowl? He threw a pick. And the only reason why they win that football game, the only reason why, is because of Edelman. It's the only reason why. Brady didn't look like his Brady stuff in the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, that was Brady's worst played Super Bowl ever. So let's get to the Jared Goff aspect of this. That whole entire team struggled offensively. From the offensive line to the running back position, couldn't get separation on the wide receivers. Obviously, Cooper Kupp was hurt, right? So there's a lot of factors. But here's 2 factors that people, especially Rams fans, love to ignore. And if you're a Rams fan like me that pays attention to everything, then you'll remember this. Jared Goff threw 2 dimes, 2 of them in the end zone, to Brandon Cooks, and Brandon Cooks dropped them both. Both in different parts of the game in the second half. 2 of them, and Brandon Cooks dropped them both. If Brandon Cooks makes those catches, the Rams do win that Super Bowl. And Jared Goff probably is the Super Bowl MVP. Now, am I saying that I would take Goff over Stafford? I'm not saying that. Because one is a better arm talent and one clearly has... We see the differences between Goff and Stafford. We see the differences, the manipulation of the eyes. But let's not act like Goff isn't excuse me, I'll go on a limb, is not a great quarterback. Because he helped turn around Detroit. Now, and here's the difference. Detroit has a functional organization now. They're functioning. They have a functional they have a functional front office. They didn't have that when Stafford was there. They did not have that when Stafford was there. We all saw what they looked like. But the moment Detroit hired Brad Holmes and Brad Holmes took over there, it was a wrap. You remember Brad Holmes scouted Jared Goff. He's also the same guy that got him from the Rams and put him in Detroit. So let's not act like Jared Goff isn't a great quarterback. Let's not act like that. Because now you're fooling yourself. Or you're just a plain hater, or you just plain and simply don't know ball. You're just a casual fan. But come on. We saw what Jared Goff do in the playoffs. He was part of the reason why the Rams beat Dallas in that wild card game. Excuse me, the divisional game. Let's not act surprised by that. Let's not act surprised by that. Did the running game help? Of course it did. When you had Gurley and C.J. Anderson running for 100 yards each of them scoring touchdowns, of course that's going to help. But he didn't cost us the game the way people out there like to make it seem like he cost us the games. What game did he cost us? What big game did he cost us? Because, again, I just outlined for you, that was Tom Brady's worst Super Bowl. Tom Brady started that game off with an interception. And the only reason why Tom Brady, in some Rams fans, look better than Jared Goff is because of Edelman, who ended up winning MVP of that Super Bowl. Edelman is the only reason why they won that Super Bowl. The only reason why. So let's not act like Jared Goff is a bum. Would I prefer Stafford over Goff? Of course. But it doesn't take away from Jared Goff's ability. We see how many games did he have you on your seat excited when we were winning these football games? But all of a sudden, he loses a couple games here and there. And every quarterback loses a football game. Let me just throw this out there too. Some of these Rams fans that like to talk about Jared Goff and how bad of a quarterback he is, those are the same type of fans that want Sean McVay fired. Those are the same fans that were screaming out for Aaron Donald to be traded. Those are the same fans that were talking about fire Raheem Morris. Those are the same fans that are talking about trade Stafford. This is those fans. That is those fans. I'm using my eyes and I'm paying attention to everything and I see what Goff does. And Goff is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. Just go back and look at his numbers. They speak for him. They speak for themselves. Again, 2019 and 2020 were two weird years. You got 2020, which is a pandemic season, which is weird for everybody, right? You have 2019 where the team was decimated with injuries, not like the 2022 season, but they were decimated with injuries. And they still finished above 500. They still finished above 500 with some of those injuries. Go look at the list of quarterbacks. And if you come to me and you tell me, oh, well, he had Sean McVay. And Patrick Mahomes has who? Jalen Hurts has who? Tom Brady had who? Joe Montana had who? Steve Young had who? So what are we talking about here? Every great quarterback needs a great head coach. Everybody. Look at what happened with Matthew Stafford. We saw the talent in Detroit with Stafford. Badly run organization. No functional head coaching whatsoever. Now he comes to a functional organization with a coach that actually knows what he's doing. And look at him. First year Super Bowl champion. Been in playoff contention ever since, except for 2022. So what are we talking about? So don't give me this BS about, oh, well, because Goff had Sean McVay. And clearly Stafford does too. Right? And this is not taking anything away from Stafford whatsoever. I'm just trying to prove a point here. Every great quarterback needs coaching. Every great quarterback needs a functional front office and organization. Stop me when I'm lying. Look at Peyton Manning with Denver and with the Colts. Look at Drew Brees in New Orleans. Look at Russell Wilson in Seattle. So what are we talking about here, you guys? People on the internet love to discredit players, especially a quarterback like Jared Goff. But the real ones know we've seen him pull up some magic. We've seen him pull out some magic. And again, let's go back to that 2018 football game Monday night against Kansas City, the high-powered Kansas City Chiefs, who everybody picked to win that football game. And what happened? Patrick Mahomes at that time was ahead of everybody to win the MVP. And that's who Stafford beat. Excuse me, that's who Goff beat. That's who Goff knocked off in that game, back and forth. And don't give me this thing about defense or anything, because just as the Rams scored on defense, Kansas City scored on defense too. So don't give me none of that. We saw the passes that he threw to Gerald Everett, to Robert Woods. We saw the perfect quarterback rating that he had against Minnesota. The 5 touchdowns that he threw against Minnesota. Stop with this BS and all this Jared Goff hating. You're a Jared Goff hater. You really don't know ball. You really don't. And I tell you, go back and look at that Super Bowl. Because I've rewatched that Super Bowl a number of times, and I'm telling you now, if it wasn't for Brandon Cooks dropping two balls in the end zone, the Rams win that Super Bowl. And who happened to throw those balls? Jared Goff. Did he play well? Nah. First half, he did not play well. And we all know this. But again, people want to act like Tom Brady had this all-world game, and he did it. Again, let me reiterate this again. That was Tom Brady's worst played Super Bowl. His worst. And the only reason why they won that Super Bowl, only reason why, 2 things. It's one, Edelman, which is the reason why he was Super Bowl MVP. 2, that wide open pass to Gronk that put them in the red zone. That's it. That's it. Outside of that, you can't pull up no real great highlights of Tom Brady in that Super Bowl. Go back and look at the tape. Go back and watch the footage. I told you this is about opinion. I'm giving my opinion on this whole Jared Goff business and these whack takes on Jared Goff. Use your eyes, man. Seriously, use your eyes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back with another episode soon. Until then, I'm out. Horns up. Let's go, Rams.